Dave Sotelo is here to share Unfinished and Unafraid, empowering youth to be courageous and unleash their potential. But this isn't a story about Dave. It's a story about every caring adult that helped him believe in his own potential and gave him hope and courage to move forward. Like any generation, youth today face new challenges. It's on us to help shape the world they'll live in.
So this is a picture of me back in 2014. Patsy and Carrie had just started Hutch Talk20, and I was invited to the first ever Hutch Talk20. And I went back and looked at this picture just to remember a little bit about how it felt. And I noticed how young I look, and I probably don't look as young. And not as young as this little guy right there. That's little baby Dave. I was born in Mexico, in Chihuahua, Camargo, Chihuahua, the same place where Alma was born. And I look back then, and I think of how my identity is marked as being an immigrant and the child of immigrant. My life dramatically changed around 2009 when the drug wars started in Mexico and changed the life of every Mexican to live there, but especially my family. My life was in danger after my aunt had received death threats from drug cartels in our city. And so we made the journey north. My family, my grandmother, my cousins and I decided to move north where my parents lived in the United States in search for a better life, for security and for safety, to make sure that our lives were safe. And so this was me. On December 11th, when I was detained at the border as an unaccompanied child. I remember how I felt that day. I felt tired, scared, lonely, hopeless, and hungry. And it was a difficult time, a time that has marked my life since. Now I want to talk a little bit about unaccompanied children, their numbers and their whys. In 2009, less than 10,000 children of unaccompanied youth had crossed the border. The number more than doubled the following year. And even now has increased dramatically. 10 years later, over 72,000 children have come across the country unaccompanied without their parents. Many of you remember this Pulitzer Prize award-winning movie by John Moore. This happened about 2 years ago, when many children were put in cages and difficult living situations in our southern borders. I felt connected with them. Lucky for me, I had a wonderful aunt and uncle who opened their doors here in Hutchinson, Kansas. They opened the doors of their families, of their family, of their hearts, and welcomed me to Hutchinson, Kansas. And I remember coming into this town. It was so different than where I lived. It was something so new, and I felt so scared yet again. But I wanted stability. I wanted to find something that I could call home, though it was difficult. My family was different. My grandmother was no longer there, and I had a new family, a new language, and a new culture. So I had to learn and set myself some goals here in Kansas. In that spring, I remember seeing the wheat grow in our fields, and the fields of this community, and I could connect with the growth. I wanted to learn English. I wanted to learn this community. I wanted to meet new friends. And so I remembered how many caring adults in this community made me feel like I was loved, like I was connected, like I mattered, and like my voice mattered. Some of them, like Carlos Smith and Bill Cordes and the David's sisters, who helped me along the way. And I miss my grandma. I miss that wonderful woman who raised me from a young kid to be ready for whatever adversity was in front of me. She was so wise and to prepare me to my future, and I'm forever thankful for her. Recently, I got hired to come back to Hutchinson to work for Rise Up Reno, and I get to work with wonderful youth, and I felt so connected and identified with them. They are the future of this community, and a lot of them face some struggles, though not the same as mine, their own trauma. My story is not just my story, it's a story that many youth face today, but we don't even have to go too far from this community. I hope you don't only think of me, but of the many children who at no fault of their own go through so much trauma at an early age. You don't have to go too far. We must continue to empower them and continue to empower every young person to be hopeful, to be brave, and to be courageous. 30% of youth in Reno County have said that during the past 12 months, they have felt so hopeless and for almost every day of 2 weeks that they stopped doing something unusual. We have to give them hope. We also have to give them courage. Courage to be courageous to face their adversities, to be courageous to face their traumas. We have to give them courage so that they can move forward and be successful in their lives. And we also have to help them realize their potential, that they can do good things, that they can do great things, and that this life can get a little better. But it takes the power of caring adults. It takes the power of unconditional love to overcome the traumas that we all face. And there are plenty of organizations in Reno County that can help youth be empowered. Rise Up Reno is just one of them. I hope that our community continues to invest their times and their efforts in empowering youth to be leaders in our community and empowering youths to live healthy lifestyles so we can continue to have a bright future. I don't know what that future looks like for me. I don't know where I'll go, and I don't know how long I'll continue to work with youth, but I know that I always feel passionate about empowering them and giving back. And whenever I can too be an encouraging adult, a loving adult. So when I think back to 2014, and I think of that young Dave, who was a junior in high school, I remembered when these two ladies came to me and asked me to speak at the first ever Hutch Talk 20. How valued I felt, how connected I felt. I hope we can continue to do that in our community.